How's it going, everybody? This is Seer here. Today we are talking about Season 13 of Cosmic Crucible. I think I have a good feel as far as how I want my defense set for this opening week of the season. Now remember, at the starting week, usually I'd go a little bit more offense heavy so you can start throwing things more on defense. Gives you room to kind of adjust your defense and kind of play style because everybody's still trying to feel out how they want to end up playing this. Now, at this time, I usually have a defense options where it's infographic. I don't have the infographic. However, I do have save squads, and we're going to kind of take a look at the save squads to see how we want to try and approach these rooms. So for stage 1 hunting sense, on defense and offense, striker characters on a successful attack will be applying bleed. Raider and skirmisher characters on a successful attack, if the target has bleed, perform an ISO attack against the target. So the team I plan to use here is going to be the Night Stalkers with Thorn. Now, if you guys were watching the 5C tournament that I ended up participating in, this room was bugged to where if you put the bleed on the target, anybody, whether it was like a healer ISO or a striker ISO, it performed multiple hits based on the amount of bleeds on there. I did get this reported. They said they got it fixed. So fingers crossed, this room is going to be bugged. Because if there's somebody that has like 3 bleeds on the other side of the team, that's a whole lot of extra hits going into those targets. Now, with the Night Stalker Storm, what I'm thinking here is Storm, if you use that special, it's going to get the trauma stun on the enemy. It's going to start flipping to get a lot of bleeds on the other side of the field, so you can really play into how this team could actually function in there. I think it could be pretty devastating if they don't come in here with the right team. Other options I was looking at in here was maybe throwing Emma Frost X-Men in here over Dorm, making it to where if they try to come in with their own Night Stalkers team with Emma Frost X-Men to shut my man thing down, I'd shut theirs down as well. And we just have the Oath to kind of play off of where they go first. And they better take this team out. Otherwise, the retaliates are going to kind of be pretty devastating. So that's my thought process here on this one. Now, if we end up going to the save squads list, the other teams that I think could play well in here could be like a Odinati team with maybe a pre-taunt. Sasquatch doesn't have to be here. It could be like a zombie juggernaut portion. It's just I have diamonds and everything, so that's kind of why I went Sasquatch, plus how he keeps reapplying the taunts on here. Another team that could play well in here could be the Superior 6 team or the Superior Knight. Swap Lizard out for a Black Knight to where those retaliates get the trauma, get the bleeds out there, and then they're really kind of getting hit with those multiple hits. If you end up going with the Superior 6 or Superior Knights, I would recommend making Green Goblin Classic a Raider because he's going to go first. He's going to get the traumas out there, and then as the other team, as Raiders start hitting into this, it starts doing that devastating damage. So you'd want to switch Spider Slayer over to a Striker as well. Another option could end up being the Orcus team. So with the Orcus team, this one here, if you end up swapping one of these members out, you can throw in like an Emma Frost X-Men. That way, if they go in with the Night Stalkers team for the counter in here, that could really throw a lot of RNG out there to where the Night Stalkers can actually fail. If you do this one, though, you'd want to keep Lady Deathstrike and then maybe swap out like Omega Sentinel or the Emma Frost X-Men. That way, you still have the Lady Deathstrike. Lady Deathstrike matches the speed of Blade, and it could really throw off the counter depending on who goes first, and it could cause a loss for them. Let's go back in game and take a look at stage number 2. So stage 2 is Spec Ops. We've had this one multiple times already. So on defense and offense, all characters on a successful dodge gain stealth. Characters with stealth will gain plus 20% damage. I'm just going to end up using my Spider Society with Lizard in here. The Ghost Spider being able to get the dodge to go stealth, and then we have Spider-Man War in here who starts in stealth, gets the extra damage. There really isn't much to really say about this room. We've had it so many times, it hasn't really been that impactful. Now, if you do want to really lean into the room rules in here, you could go with like a Mephisto with Illuminati team, making it to where the team goes stealth because of Mephisto's passive could cause that extra damage to go out there. I'm pretty sure if you end up using this, that Phoenix Force team could be a pretty good counter into this still. So that's why I'm not totally sold on it. I think it's a very good theory crafting idea to be able to play into that though. Another team could be the Annihilators with Black Knight and Super Skrull. You don't have to use Black Knight. I was trying to throw another free taunt in there because realistically, they're going to try to go in here with the Immortal X-Men if they end up seeing this, because Immortal X-Men just kind of destroys that Super Skrull Annihilators team. However, they end up having to deal with the Black Knight Retaliates on here unless you end up hitting him right off the bat, take the charges off. So that's why I'm not 100% sold on this one, but it is something you could start playing into. Could be the Super Skrull idea, maybe like a Hive Mind Sasquatch Super Skrull, making it to where Super Skrull goes stealth quite a bit with this team, and then you start pushing. That pushes the Hive Mind team, and it could really throw people off guard with the amount of damage Super Skrull is pumping out there. The pre-taunt having Sasquatch on the left side makes it where you can't really do the rewind on Super Skrull as well with the Red Hulk combo. So you have to figure out a different way to really control this team and not going with a lot of positive effects for them. Let's go ahead and take a look at stage number 3 for this one. This one here is a very interesting room. It's going to be one of the rooms that decides if you're going to win or lose in Cosmic Crucible this season, I feel. So on defense and offense, special abilities cost 2 more ability energy. Ultimate abilities cost 2 less. When an enemy character dies, any ally gains 1 ability energy, making it to where if you try to do like a burn attack in here, you're really feeding them ability energy by doing that. What I'm looking at is going to be the Annihilators, Super Skrull, and Dr. Doom. So my thought process here, I wasn't sure how I want to go with the 5th member, so I want to see how this plays out, because if they end up going in with the Onkahori, that passive shot's going to shoot into either Gore or Dr. Doom. It might be Dr. Doom based on turn meter. Actually, Gore is the faster one, so he'd take the shot. But Dr. Doom would end up ulting on turn 1, and that's going to end up speeding up either Gore or maybe a Super Skrull, something of that sort. And then they start getting those multiple turns. Gore, if he gets speed up, is going to ult every single turn. It's pretty nasty what could end up happening in here. Another option they could do could be like a Black Knight in here. And because this is stage 3, to where teams don't start out with the special abilities like this, Immortal X-Men's not going to be a counter into this room, making the counters very particular for what you throw in here, which we're going to discuss later in the video. So let's go ahead and jump back into the save squads. So here's the team I'm looking at. Another team could end up being Dr. Doom out for Kahori. I faced this one in Cosmic Crucible. However, I do feel that you want Kahori to be on offense for this season because of that stage 3. Just like for the Ultimate 32, Kahori on offense for that stage 1. Now, another thing they could end up doing is playing with the Super Skrull, trying to get the 2 heroes, 2 villains portion on here. So you could end up swapping Gore out for Silver Surfer, throw Black Knight in there as well. So you have 2 heroes, 2 villains. So when Super Skrull does start popping off, getting the special, he can get the ability blocks out there as well. It's just a thought on here. Or again, you can go with a Mephisto Illuminati team in here. I don't think that you want Odin Adi in 3, because Odin being able to basic turns 1 is good. However, it's still going to be a little bit before he can actually get the special. Well, he might still get the special. It might be the special on turn 2 or 3 for that. But regardless, Mephisto Illuminati could be an interesting thought in here as well, because Mephisto's going to be ulting turn 1, and Black Panther Shuri, she's going to ult turn 1. However, there's a better room this season for your Odinati or Illuminati team to try to go into, which we'll get to that one. Let's go ahead and take a look at stage 4. So stage 4, there really wasn't much that I could really think on how I'd want to play this one out. So defense and offense. On death, allies gain offense up. On death, apply trauma to all enemies. So basically, I wasn't sure exactly how this worked because the wording is so odd on here. If you have somebody that gets killed on the defense side, the offense side gets trauma, and the defense side gets offense up. Or if I'm attacking into somebody, I lose one of my characters, I get offense up, they get trauma. So it's kind of a double-edged sword on how this really plays out. This is really just going to kind of be like an Orcus room from what I can see. You can maybe try to swap the Silver Surfer out for a Mysterio, making it to where the Night Stalkers would have to bring Kestrel in, which I usually do Kestrel with Night Stalkers anyways, because I don't want to mess with the bot that's on the field. But if one of the summons ends up getting killed, the Night Stalkers then will have trauma on them, and the Orcus team has offense up. So I just threw Silver Surfer in here, mainly due to new stats. I don't really see this really doing anything. And honestly, if we take a look at the save squads on here, the only thing I could really think to add new stats that could kind of work in here is going to be the Orcus team. So if you want, you could try to maybe treat this as like a dead room. Some of the other options I threw in here could be like a dorm, making it to where they get the revive once. If Flay doesn't get the permakill, they could pop back up. Or the Emma Frost X-Men. Again, Emma Frost X-Men taking out Omega Sentinel makes it to where Night Stalker has a chance to fail. However, I wanted my Emma Frost X-Men for offensive tool this season, just in case I end up seeing a Night Stalkers on defense. I could try to use her as a counter into Night Stalkers myself. Let's go ahead and take a look at stage number 5. Stage 5 is Resurrection Protocols. We had this one or two times before. However, they put a little twist on this one, which I find pretty interesting. So on defense and offense, mutant characters on spawn gain revive once and immunity. The immunity is actually very, very big for this one because the unlimited X-Men, they spawn in with safeguard. So having safeguard with immunity, not flipping, very powerful and potent. So I'm just going to end up using my Extreme X-Men with Rogan here. I want Nightcrawler for offense, so I'm putting Sunspot in here with Cyclops, making it to where if they end up failing this attack, Sunspot's going to have the charges. They could really mess things up as far as how they get the ability energy based on the charges that he has, plus the damage goes up. Then Cyclops in here, basically just to power and speed up Forge in here. Other options, if you really want to play into the mutant portion on here, could be throwing like a pre-taunt with Bishop in here, making it to where Bishop dies, comes right back, Forge gets the speed up, ult, gets the safeguard and all the buffs on the other team. Or if you want Nightcrawler on defense, you could end up taking out Sunspot, throw Nightcrawler in here, making it where they get a lot more difficult to beat because of the speed up and building the speed bar, the shenanigans really that Nightcrawler provides. The Astral team, there are 2 mutants on this team, being Shadow King and Emma Frost X-Men. But remember, when they come back with the revive, they only come back with 1 hit point. So if they come back, it's really easy to get the killing blow on them again. However, because of the Astral team having to where Doctor Strange could just ult and bring everybody back again, it could throw a little monkey wrench into how to beat this team. However, I do feel that the typical second team, where it's Boy Knight, Red Hulk, Lady Deathstrike, that portion of the team, could still rewind this team, get the killing blows on them, and really kill them off. So I prefer Shadow King and Emma Frost X-Men to be more in the offensive side of things. That's why I'm not really sold on Astral being here, but they could be very good on the defense portion in that room. The last room that we're going to end up discussing today is going to be charging power. So this one here is also going to be another room that's going to kind of dictate whether you win or lose Cosmic Crucible because of how interesting and impactful this really is. So on defense and offense, on spawn, generate 5 ultimate ability energy, and ultimate ability use does dish out like the ability blocks to your allies. So it's a little pretty big double-edged sword on here, because if you get the ult off, you're gonna have ability block on your side of the field unless you have ways to really cleanse it, or you have immunity, something to kind of prevent you from getting that ability block on here. So this is where I'm going to end up putting my Odonati team. I don't think I'm going to end up doing the pre-taunt because of how this room's going to end up working. Black Panther Shuri, she's going to end up having those charges on spawn, so she's still going to start with the special as opposed to the ultimate, which is pretty nasty. Hank Pym being able to ult turn 1, that's going to get trauma out there. We have Captain Britain doing an ult. It's that big single target hit. Gets the stun out there again. Odin, he is going to end up doing the special unless he gets the ability block, and then he can do the basic turn 1. It's really going to start throwing things off because of the ability block portion on here, unless it gets cleansed off. So you don't really want to go in with like an echo because if you end up going in with the Echo, he's not going to get the assist, means he's going to basic, put the battlefield effect on there. The counter that we end up typically using is really going to mess up how this plays out. So it's very interesting. I really like this room. So let's go ahead and take a look at the other options that I'm looking at in here. So you could end up going with an Odinati with Mephisto. I think that's going to probably be maybe later on in this season. And then there's going to end up being the Annihilators, Kahori, and Mephisto. That could work pretty well in here because Kahori's going to end up ulting turn 1. Mephisto's going to ult turn 1. Now, if you end up going in with this team on defense, they're probably going to end up using their own Kahori with Shadow King on the offense side to try to beat it. So that's why I'm not sold as far as this being one of the top options. But it is a very interesting option that could go on the defense side over here. Another thing that you could end up going with could be like the Night Stalkers with Mephisto in here. Having it to where the team just keeps ulting even after the double sack. The Night Stalkers are very vicious with the ultimates, and Mephisto being able to ult as well on turn 1. That's going to be pretty bad. So I do like the Night Stalkers Mephisto being in here. But let's go ahead and take a look at the offense portion that we have left to play with based on the defense I have currently set. So we are going to have our own Immortal X-Men. That's going to be able to beat anything that's like a Super Skrull, unless it's in that stage 3 matchup. Then we'll just use this to try to take out one of the other big teams, except for Orcus. Don't use this team into Orcus because Orcus gets a lot of buffs against mutants. That would be a bad idea. Another team that I'll have is going to be my Cabal team, and I could throw in somebody like a Kang in here. I could throw in an Ares. I could throw in Lady Deathstrike. I have a lot of villains to really fill this 4th and 5th slot in here. I will have my Superior 6 team with Vulture because I have Lizard on defense. Or if I need to, I could remove one of these other characters, throw Mysterio in there. This team's usually really good at beating out the Extreme or Extreme Rogue teams in stage 5. This should be pretty good counter into them. This one here is a courtesy of Dorky Dad when he did his Ultimate 32 video. Basically, this team here is going to be able to beat a lot of teams in stage 3 and stage 6. So we have Kahori, who's going to be ulting. He's going to call in the ping from Shadow King, Joe Basic, and then it could really start messing up as far as she'd have another basic after that. She gets very close to her special after that. It's pretty nasty as far as what Kahori can do when she starts off with the ultimate ability. And all those ultimates that's coming from this team is going to start getting the Shadow King pings. We have Apocalypse in here as well to get the extra health and damage output. Guardian for the offense up. And then we have a 5th open slot to use however we see fits. Another team that we have in here is going to be our Phoenix Force with Black Knight, Mephisto, because I'm having my Mephisto for offense, and Echo, or I can swap Echo for somebody else in that stage 6. This is my Odinati counter. And then we have our Mercs for money. We have Nightcrawler that can slot in here as well. And we also have the Starjammers coming. So by the time we reach towards the end of the season on here, the full Starjammers team should be out. Once that happens, the whole landscape of Cosmic Crucible is going to end up changing because of what that team does. It's going to make it to where, do we want to still keep our Odinati on defense? Do we want to throw Starjammers on defense? I'm going to do a separate video as far as talking about the implementations as far as what Starjammers is going to bring to Cosmic Crucible. It's going to do a huge shakeup based on the kits. I'll do a kit overview as well, talking about, is these Starjammers going to be good everywhere or just Cosmic Crucible? So hopefully you guys did enjoy this video. It kind of rambled on a little bit in here, but I thought it was important to talk about all the options as far as offense, defense, and what's to come in Cosmic Crucible. If you guys did enjoy this video, please remember to like, share, and subscribe. Also, the saved squads I have there, I'll put that in the comments section and the description, so you can just copy and paste it. Help you guys try to decide which option you want to go with. So until next time, everybody, have a wonderful rest of the day.